in this edition of RPPV News. The Peninsula tries to break away from Melbourne, Mornington Centrelink is saved, and camping in a different kind of quarantine. Hello, I'm Catie Sharp. Welcome to the latest edition of RPPV News, bringing you stories from across Frankston and the Mornington Peninsula. We're in lockdown for another week after more mystery cases, and Briars Ward Councillor Steve Holland has had enough. The Peninsula has had no active cases or exposure sites, and he, along with fellow councillors, wants to explore whether the Peninsula should be classified as regional rather than part of metropolitan Melbourne. After receiving what he described as a flood of messages from residents and small business owners asking for help, Councillor Holland set up a poll on his Facebook page, asking people to vote on whether the Peninsula should receive the same classification as Greater Geelong, and whether lockdowns should be more targeted by postcode or council region, rather than across the board. At the time of recording, his poll had received over 400 responses, all of which were yes votes. The Committee for Mornington Peninsula welcomed the Shire Council's stand, stating it will help address what it calls a current economic disadvantage. Committee Executive Officer Bryony Hutton said local residents and businesses face all the challenges of a regional community, but cannot access regionally specific government support, such as being eligible for twice the first homeowners grant and the living away from home allowance for regional university students who must relocate to study. The Peninsula is taxed at a higher rate for being part of metropolitan Melbourne, but does not benefit from many metropolitan standard services, such as an extensive public transport system. The committee also rejected suggestions that becoming regional means the Peninsula would lose the protection of green wedge planning restrictions. They are currently researching whether existing provisions in the Metropolitan Green Wedge Protection Act would protect the Mornington Peninsula green wedge. Local police had their hands full last week with 2 drink drivers booked within 24 hours, both of whom were well over the legal limit. At around 9 a.m. on the 5th, Rosebud police were called to a collision on Melbourne Road in Sorrento. The offending driver, a male in his 20s, provided a breath test reading of 0.236, almost 5 times the legal limit. He has been charged with a number of driving offences and his licence was immediately suspended. Then only 19 hours later, police from the Hastings night shift spotted a motorist on Stony Point Road in Bitton driving 84 km per hour in a 60 km zone. The 28-year-old male from Toorong provided a breath test of 0.208, which is over 4 times the legal limit. His licence was also immediately suspended and his vehicle impounded. Police expressed their frustration with drink drivers, stating that luck was the only difference between a tow truck and the coroner's van attending these incidents. In a big win for the community, the Mornington Centrelink office is no longer at risk of closure. After fierce campaigning for over a year by both residents and local politicians, it was announced this week that Mornington Centrelink Medicare and Child Support Services will remain permanently on Main Street and will operate 5 days a week. Member for Dunkley Peter Murphy called the announcement a great community victory. From next year, you'll be able to go camping at one of the most scenic points on the peninsula. Work is underway to build a campsite at the quarantine station at the tip of Point Nepean. The camping experience will consist of pre-pitched tents on platforms on the lawn outside the quarantine station and will be especially designed for people new to camping. The old isolation hospital will be redeveloped as an amenities building. Stage 1 works should be complete by mid-2022. And the winner of the 2021 Frankston Arts Centre Open Exhibition Competition has been announced. New South Wales artist Ryan Lee has taken out top honours with his video artwork, Wonnarua. Guest judge Simon Lowry, who is curator at McClellan Sculpture Park and Gallery, described the artwork as a powerful and sensitive meditation on 2 seemingly irreconcilable approaches to land and country. The video contrasts living portraits of 5 Aboriginal people from the Wonnarua Nation with drone shots of the Muswellbrook coal mines, which are situated on Wonnarua land. The exhibition has moved online during lockdown and can be seen at the Frankston Arts Centre website. It will move to Cube 37 once the centre reopens. After the break, we go to Patricia with the coming week's weather report.
Established in 1988, Progress Science has been servicing the local community for 30 years. Located on the Mornington Peninsula, they are the #1 destination for all your signage needs, specialising in a variety of signage from vehicles to shop fronts, occasional and corporate events, short-term, long-term and everything in between. If it's signs you need, be it large or small, Progress Signs is the place to call. Available 24/7 at progress-signs.com.au or call the team on 5975 9188. Thinking signs? Think Progress Signs, a station sponsor.
There's a quiet revolution happening on the rooftops of Australia. And at Solar Heart, we're proud to be leading the charge. One home, one family, one solar panel at a time, helping smart Aussies make a real difference to the planet, cutting their energy bills and connecting them to their smart energy future. Get smart. Get Solar Heart.
RPPV and Bendigo Bank have a long-standing relationship. Without the Bendigo Bank, we wouldn't have a transmitter site, we wouldn't have a studio, we wouldn't have an outside broadcast fan, and without them, we can't tell the stories that we think the Bendigo Bank community, our community, needs to hear.
Thanks, Bendigo Bank.
Thanks for your support.
Hello, I'm Patricia, and welcome to this week's RPPV Mornington Peninsula 7-day weather forecast. This week we are coming to you from Cape Schanck. Located in the southernmost tip of the Mornington Peninsula, Cape Schanck is a well-known historical landmark in the state of Victoria. It was named after Captain John Schanck, RN, in the early 1800s by Lieutenant James Grant while in command of the majestic Lady Nelson. Captain Schanck was a genius in mechanical design. In 1776, he was in charge of assembling ships to battle the American revolutionaries on Lake Champlain in Canada. Within a short period, he constructed the HMS Inflexible, part of the fleet that defeated General Benedict Arnold's U.S. fleet in October 1776. He went on to design ships with a sliding keel to allow navigation of shallow waters. The HMS Lady Nelson was one of these ships and was commissioned to explore and map parts of Australia. Turning to this week's weather, we are pleased to bring some warm news for a change. Continuing from a beautiful day on Friday, Saturday the 14th of August should be a mostly sunny day with a top of 17 and a low of 8. Sunday, possibly the best day of the week, will see the sun continuing to shine with a top of 18 and a low of 9. Monday sees a partly cloudy day with some showers returning. Expect a top of 14 and a low of 10. Tuesday will be much the same with light northerly winds, bringing a top of 13 and a low of 9. Wednesday the 18th of August brings yet another partly cloudy day with a 30% chance of rain. Expect a top of 14 and a low of 8. Thursday continues the trend, overcast, rain and light winds. We should feel a low of 7 and a high of 15. And finally, Friday, the 20th of August, will be a very wet day with a low of 8 and a high of 15. Cape Schanck offers a breathtaking view of unspoiled beaches and scenic walking tracks. One of its most recognizable landmarks is the iconic lighthouse. The Cape Schanck Lighthouse was constructed in 1859 from limestone blocks laced with decorative brackets. It is built on an 80-meter cliff, and the lighthouse itself stands 21 meters high. The lighthouse is located 100 meters above sea level with a beacon that ranges up to 26 nautical miles over the shipping lanes of the Bass Strait. Today the lighthouse features a museum building that sits in the former assistant lighthouse keeper's quarters. Here you can get a glimpse into the history of the lighthouse and the life of the lightkeepers and maritime families during the 1800s. Well, that's all for this week. Until next time, take good care.
And to our surf guru Muzz with the Surf Report.
Hey guys, Muzz here with just a tack-on surf report. Plenty of swell around still and conditions are pretty good, but just a word of warning guys, the police had robots set up at both Pontley and Shoreham today, checking regos and licences and also for testing. Checking for a large amount of people coming to the area from outside the area, so if you're not around the peninsula, back end of the peninsula, probably avoid coming down because they are issuing fines. And they did mention when I spoke to the police that they will have a blitz this weekend. So that's not good considering there is going to be a couple of okay babies and okay waves. But if you're not for this, don't come down, just stay home. Sorry guys. And we've got another week hopefully to come out the other side and see how we go.
And that's all from our team here at RPPV News, serving the community with stories that matter to you. Keep watching and do tell your friends. Stay safe, use the QR codes and get vaccinated if you can. Bringing you the news from coast to coast across Frankston and the Mornington Peninsula, I'm Catie Sharp. See you for the next edition.